Hello guys and welcome back to some Sayanoyuta episode, I think it's 5. Last time, I think her name was Umi, went into Fuminori's house to confront him, and he wasn't there, and she met Saya, who was confirmed to be a monster, and then she gruesomely died. And I think the worst part was afterwards, since Fuminori's weird disease made him see like gross stuff as normal and normal stuff as gross. And he saw Saya eating, I guess, bits of Umi, but they looked like fruits to him, and he started eating them. That was that was pretty terrifying. So I have to give props to the author for that. That made me shiver a bit. And then I think we got like a little blurb about like a rumor in the hospital from when Saya was there. There's a hospital monster rumor going around, which just gives a little backstory to how she was living in the hospital and what she did. Because Fuminori assumed that the patients thought she was a ghost and that created the ghost stories, but she was a monster and the patients were complaining about the monster. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about that, but let's just get right into it. But I predict that now this is gonna cause, forgot his name, but Umi's boyfriend and probably Baby Yo to get involved, which could lead to more trouble. Hopefully not.
ダメだ。
Yes. And while Umi went to go to Fuminori, I think his name's Ghost, I don't know, something with a K, went to comfort Yo. Oh, this is the third day they haven't been able to get in touch with Umi. There's no sign of her having returned to her apartment, and even her family doesn't know anything. Her parents have already filed a missing persons report.
まあ、あいつのことだからな。何事もなかったみたいに、ひょっこり顔出しそうな気もするんだが。
だといいけど。
Yo replies with a gloomy expression. She's worried about Umi, of course, but the incident with Fuminori 3 days ago must still be weighing in on her mind as well. Yo hasn't seen Fuminori since then, and Fuminori hasn't made any effort to approach them. 4 people used to meet in this cafeteria between classes, but now there are only 2.
ねえ、トノくん、もう一度考えてみようよ。どこかおみちゃんの行きそうな場所に心当たりない？
いや、一通りは確かめたしな。
Okay, his name's Koji. Good to know. Koji answers evasively. It's a lie, of course. Koji knows where Omi planned to go that evening, but he doesn't want to bring Fuminori up in front of Yo. Their awkward silence is mercifully broken by the bell, signaling the start of the next period.
じゃあ、俺行くわ。
I feel like Koji's a little relaxed. A little relaxed for the fact that his girlfriend's been missing for 3 days. But who knows, maybe that's just his personality. If Koji isn't mistaken, Yo is supposed to have class next period too, but she continues to sit there like she's in a trance. Unable to come up with anything to say, he reluctantly leaves the cafeteria. Both Umi's disappearance and Yo's depression worry Koji, and both problems lead back to the exact same place.
海のりは一体
When Omi went missing, the first thing Koji did was question Fuminori. The last time he'd seen Omi was just before she stormed off to give Fuminori a piece of her mind after all. Fuminori had responded with blunt, unequivocal denial, and had acted as though he hadn't had the slightest idea why Omi would have gone to his house. Perhaps that was only natural, as he was unaware that Omi and Toji had witnessed him reduce Yo to tears. In the first place, did Omi actually make it to Fuminori's house? She had been riding a wave of emotions when she left, and might very well have calmed down and changed her mind halfway there. Or perhaps she ran into trouble on the way? Koji concluded, or more accurately, convinced himself that one of these possibilities was the truth, subconsciously denying the one remaining possibility. In other words, the possibility that Fuminori was lying, that he had met Omi and was involved with her disappearance. But obviously, you don't want to think like that as a friend, but he is acting weird towards, in his point of view anyways, and, he just did that brutal rejection, so it wouldn't be a stretch to think that. When questioned by the police, Koji only told the truth about Omi's destination up to the district and train station, maintaining that he had no idea where she planned to go after that. He wanted to cooperate with the search, of course, but knew that Omi couldn't have made it to Fuminori's house. Fuminori said so himself, didn't he? In that case, he told the police everything they needed to know. Not wanting to get the still fragile Fuminori involved, he forced himself to accept this flimsy logic. Imagine if the police did get involved, that would make things really messy if they went to investigate his house. But now, the conflict has built up inside Koji without his notice, and only formless suspicion towards Fuminori cycles through his mind. Koji is in deep thought, paying no attention to his surroundings, but perhaps that is what allows him to catch a sight of his friend's back through the crowd of milling students.
Fuminori?
At first, Koji assumes that he's headed to the lecture hall, but it soon appears that he is instead going home. Strange, there should be required classes for medical students in the afternoon. Though he is initially surprised, Koji's hesitation lasts for only a second. Koji follows his friend, taking care to stay far enough behind that he won't be noticed. Fuminori wasn't going home, as became obvious when he boarded a train headed in the opposite direction. Yeah, I was about to guess what he was trying to say. Good job, Koji. Koji's next was that he was going to see his doctor at the university hospital, but Fuminori rode straight through the closest station. Okay, then I was wrong. Never mind.
どこに向かってる?
At first, Koji felt awfully foolish, rebuking himself for tailing his friend like this, but his conscience fell silent as Fuminori's actions became more mysterious. The stranger it gets, the closer Koji feels to discovering the truth behind Fuminori's sudden transformation. Any knowledge would be welcome, no matter how slight. Even Koji is beginning to think that there must be something more behind Fuminori's change than the accident alone. He wants a more satisfying answer, one that will help him decide whether or not Fuminori can be trusted. Fuminori gets off at a small station in a nondescript urban area. Koji follows, trying not to lose sight of him amidst the other disembarking passengers. The station has neither a traffic circle nor a shopping district in front of it. The area is quite desolate, possessing only a small bookstore, convenience store, and market. It is easy for Koji to keep Fuminori in view. Fuminori seems to know these streets, clearly intent on a single goal as he hurries through the residential neighborhood. Carved out of the hills, this area has many slopes, and here and there remain steep inclines and wooded areas that escape assimilation. Koji, who moved to Tokyo to attend school, is amazed that such a quiet place exists less than an hour out of the city. Before long, Fuminori reaches a house. Without ringing the bell or even knocking on the door, he vanishes inside, as though sucked into a vacuum, leaving Koji to wonder how Fuminori can treat this house as his own. Okay, I have an idea. What if this is the doctor and Saya's old house? Maybe. And he's going to investigate that, or Saya asked him to bring him something. Or something like that. I think that's the only thing I can think of. If it's not related to the friends or Fuminori directly. It looks abandoned anyways. After waiting to see if Fuminori will come out, Koji approaches the gate and checks the nameplate. Guy. Yeah, I think that's the doctor. It's either the missing doctor, the father to Saya, or the female doctor. It's probably the missing father person. Koji has never heard anyone by that name among Fuminori's acquaintances. Next, his action is drawn to the thick wad of leaflets sticking out of the mail slot, which, coupled with the general... what is that word? Dilapidated feel of the place, suggests that it has been long since abandoned. A small playground about 2 blocks away provides an adequate vantage point from which to watch the front of the Odai home. Fortunately, it does not appear to be the sort of house that has a rear exit. Chiding himself for not stocking up on cigarettes, Koji settles down on a bench to begin his stakeout. 1 hour passes, and then another, but there remains no sight of movement around the Odai residence as twilight settles upon the neighborhood. After Koji's 1 pack of cigarettes run out, the stakeout becomes a battle against mounting impatience. He kills time by redialing Omi on his cell and sending her short text messages, but his efforts are as futile as he knew they would be. When the sky begins to turn deep blue and the streetlights come on, Fuminori finally emerges from the house and heads back towards the station with the same hurried stride. After some brief consideration, Koji decides right now investigating the house is more important than tailing Fuminori. It's a smart decision. He rings the doorbell just to make sure. Receiving the expected silence in response, he checks to make sure no one is watching and turns the doorknob. The door is not locked. The moment he enters the house, thick, stale air fills Koji's nostrils, redolent of mold and dust. It is the unmistakable smell of a house that has long lain untouched. There is also a faint hint of something indescribable in the air, something reminiscent of damp sewers and fetid cisterns. Okay. Flipping the light switch does nothing. The power must be dead or perhaps cut off. Ew, so green. It does to Fuminori. This would probably look pleasant. Koji uses his oil lighter to illuminate the immediate area. In the thick dust covering the floor, he can clearly see brand new trails of footprints that could only have been made by shoes. They must be Fuminori's, showing an equal lack of reservation. Koji also enters with his shoes on. The lighter's flickering flame pushes back the deathly silence and gloom of the house. Koji is surprised to see evidence of life remaining. Everything from furniture to tableware and appliances is intact. Nothing seems to be missing. Because people don't actually know that he's dead or missing. Because if you remember back then, the hospital just said that he was on a long vacation or something, right? Even though we got to, because it's third person, we got to see inside the doctor's mind, and we know that the hospital is responsible for something. They did something to this guy, though we don't know what. I mean, probably just killed him and hid him somewhere. Which I actually think that Saya might know that he's dead, and she might have found the body and ate it. Though that's just a theory, because I remember she said that when Koji had his flashback about first meeting Saya, he promised her to find her dad. And then she's like, no, you probably won't find him anyways. And I think he did something bad or whatever. Which kind of, I mean, I guess that doesn't mean that she found him, but I think she did at least realize that he's dead. Or not Koji, Fuminori wouldn't know that anyways. So let's go. Oop, train. I'm sure you love the train sound. It's probably annoying, but I've been here in this condo for a couple of years, so it doesn't bother me anymore. I only noticed it because I'm recording, but yeah. The thickness of the dust suggests that the house has been empty for several months, which means that the owner must have left with little more than his... Must have left with little more than the clothes on his back. Could he have gone on a long vacation? Oops, I wasn't done. The calendar in the den is still turned to April. Empty and silent, yet still exhibiting signs of life that was once lived there. The house reminds Koji of a passenger ship resting at the bottom of the sea. In the graveyard-like quiet, a sinister thought suddenly runs through his head. No one is living here, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the owner left. Maybe he was killed, and his rotting corpse is right under my feet. Koji finds himself wanting a stronger light. A made light in his hand would make him feel a lot better. Also, a quick note, I always, or in multiple videos of this, I gave props to the author for when we see Fuminori's point of view. The backgrounds always look really good. But so far, this house looks really creepy, even without all the weird, gory, fleshy stuff. So, again, more props. I mean, usually, I think I already mentioned that you usually don't see backgrounds in visual novels that are this good. So this is a pleasant surprise. Alright. Following what appear to be Fuminori's footprints, Koji ascends to the second floor, where he begins to catch the scent of paper in the stale air. It is the smell of old books, instantly familiar to anyone who has worked in an antique bookstore or a library. The second floor turns out to be a study, its towering shelves packed with such a vast number of books that Toji fears for the stability of the floor. As a medical student himself, I'm just gonna wait for that to pass. He is able to discern at a glance that this study belongs to a medical professional, and a high-level one at that. Judging by the content of the books, a smorgasbord? I know I've heard that word before, but again, the word choice of the translators is pretty interesting. I don't hate it. It makes it seem more like a novel, actually, which is pretty cool. Anyways, a smorgasbord of technical volumes far beyond a simple student. The owner must be more interested in research than clinical medicine. It appears that Fuminori spent most of his time here, his scattered dust making it clear that he was searching for something. He seems to have focused on going through the desk and file cabinet, as the contents of their drawers are in obvious disarray. A small pile of books on a side table catches his eye. Being next to the desk, they must have been the most frequently read. What sort of books they are could shed some light on the person who worked here. Toji frowned as he examined the three books. The old, leather-bound Western tomes are not scientific texts, but rather the kind of book you would expect to see in a glass case at a rare bookstore. The titles are equally mysterious. Trait des chiffres. That's French, if you didn't know. I don't speak French, but I learned it in elementary and like grade 9, since it's mandatory in Canada, which is where I live. Appears to be about... It's not Samat. What's Simo? There's that word. The study of signs and symbols and their use or interpretation. Okay. But ars magna et ultima, I think that's still French, is some kind of treats, I don't know what that is. Treatise on divination? This is just text. And then there's the Voynich manuscript, which appears to be a sort of picture book. When he pages through it, however, he finds line after line of utterly incomprehensible characters. Maybe it's some kind of cipher. Whatever they are, they clearly have nothing to do with medicine, refuting Toji's earlier guess that Mr. Odai was a doctor. Looking down, Toji suddenly noticed the glint of something black and metallic under the chair. A pocket-sized maidlet. Quite out of place among all these dusty books. Fuminori must have brought it in. With slight relief, Toji exchanges his lighter for the maidlet. Its tiny body emits a powerful white beam that casts away the darkness. His courage restored, he decides to explore the rest of the house.
Hmm?
Ooh, the music stopped and just got a lot more tenser. Toji notices something strange, something that was not visible in the lighter's weak flame. The slime, especially thick on the doorknobs, the stair banisters, these are no mere handprints. Dark, slimy stains are everywhere, like someone had their hands wrapped in greasy cloth. Looking closer, he sees what appear to be places where the slime was splashed low on the walls and near the floor. It's almost as if a wet mop was run violently across the floor. Are these more remnants of Odai's life? No, these marks are much too strange. Koji begins to feel sick as he finds himself imagining the denizen of this place wandering around with filthy water dripping from its entire body. Ew. Finding the bedroom next to the study, Koji checks the closet on a hunch. He finds two empty suitcases, not what one would leave behind when he was going on a long vacation. A sudden chill runs through him. So whoever was living here is still somewhere inside the house. I mean, it doesn't mean that, but sure. Suppressing the urge to flee, Koji goes back downstairs to check the first floor. Upstairs, maybe? Because he's in the basement. Also, this is what Omi did. Just a mind of steel and investigating, even though this is super creepy. But it actually makes more sense for Koji since he's worried about his girlfriend and he wants to investigate about Fuminori. But Omi just balls to the walls, I guess. Still a bad idea. If he finds a corpse, he'll have to call the police right away. He can get away with trespassing if he reports it first, but if they find the body later, it'll be awfully hard to explain his fingerprints all over the house. The maid light reveals the den to be covered in even more slime than the rest of the house. The sofa looks as though it was dredged from the bottom of a swamp. So I guess the mossy smell was the slime too. Unless it just doesn't have a smell and it's just the smell of an old house. But I'd imagine it would have a smell. No, it has to. Oh, I guess since it's old, then maybe these are just marks, and that the smell was that indescribable smell that Koji said earlier. Right. My bad. Okay, let's go. In the kitchen, Koji takes one look at the sink and decides not to get any closer. He doesn't want any more fuel for his imagination. He reaches the door to the bathroom. A common scene from TV dramas flashed through his head. A suicide with slit wrists floating in a bathtub filled with water. And wasn't there a movie where a hitman butchers a victim's body in a bathroom? That's a... Koji steels himself and opens the door slowly, shining his light into the ceramic bathtub that appears from the darkness like a white ghost. Dried flesh and blood clinging to a curved rib bone has turned the inside of the tub black. Ew. Okay, so that's a body. That still might not be Odai's body. It's probably just one of Saya's victims, I think. Koji puts one hand against the wall to steady himself as his legs threaten to buckle. Something is wrong. He realizes as he desperately tries to get his thoughts in order. Bones, but they're too small and there are too many of them. Okay, maybe they're like cats or something. Okay. After taking several deep breaths to calm himself, Koji enters the bathroom and examines the tub. The tub is half filled with small bones, piled on top of each other like fallen leaves. Too small to be human, they appear to be from small animals like dogs, cats, mice, and sparrows. Even so, the quantity is mind-boggling. How many corpses would it take to produce this many bones? The bones have all been separated from each other, and it doesn't appear that the bodies were just thrown into the tub and left to rot. This is made clear by the many groove-like impressions left in each bone, marks left by teeth biting through flesh. Koji's sanity won't let him consider the possibility that a human could have done this. The owner of this house must have been keeping some sort of carnivorous animal as a pet, giving it the bones of small animals to eat, disposing of the remains in the bathtub. But why not dispose of the leftovers properly? They could have just been thrown out with the garbage, or was there something keeping him from leaving the house? The momentary relief Koji felt when he realized that the bones weren't human was once again under attack by the ever-deepening mystery permeating from this house. Just what the hell was Fuminori doing here?
どうした、コウジ。
Oh, fuck. Oh, that scared me. Holy shit. Okay, I love this. I love this visual novel so much. Definitely the scariest one I've read. I actually got jump scared. I know I didn't gasp, but I just felt my heart like stop for a second. I'm like, holy shit. I wasn't expecting that at all. But you know, you should have because of all that empty space in the background, which makes it perfect for a jump scare. Fuck, let's go on. That was great. Small round of applause. Koji whirls around, his penlight revealing Fuminori's expressionless face.
不法侵入だぞ、コウジ。お前だって同じだろうが。
Koji replies, barely managing to speak over the pounding of his heart. Same dude. Fuminori pushes past Koji and looks nonchalantly into the bathtub, as though there's nothing strange about a tub filled with
僕はこ
bones.
の家の人と知り合いなんだ。頼まれて探し物をしに来ただけさ。知り合いって、いつから？一体何者なんだ？
Koji doesn't want to believe that the old friendly Fuminori could have contact with the denizens of this house.
いずれお前にも紹介するよ。僕の恩人とも言える人だから。
He says, turning to leave without even looking at Koji.
おい、Fuminori!
With his heart finally beating normally again, Koji runs after
お前
Fuminori.
まさか近頃様子がおかしいのはその知り合いっていうやつのせいなんじゃ。
Standing in the entrance, Fuminori glares coldly at Koji over his shoulder. The utter lack of emotion in his eyes give Koji a pause.
僕の後をつけてきたんだね、コウジ。
With no possible excuse, Koji can only swallow under Fuminori's piercing stare.
そういうのは迷惑だ。二度とやらないでもらいたい。ああ。
Fuminori walks away without another word, leaving Koji alone in the entrance. Well, that was tense, but I thought something more violent would have broken out, but yeah, obviously Fuminori probably didn't see the bones. I don't know what he would have saw, maybe like empty fruit skins or something. Until this moment, there was still a part of Koji that wanted to consider Sakisaka Fuminori a close friend. Now, however, there's only ice-cold terror. Does the Fuminori he knew no longer exist? Was the person who just stared Koji down an imposter wearing Fuminori's skin? Koji has begun to believe that it might be so. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop. That was great. Again, I just really have to give props to this visual novel. I am enjoying it so much. Like I've read, like I said, Umineko and Fata Morgana are my two favorite visual novels, and they had some horror aspects, but I never really thought of them as horror novels. But you know, I'm not saying this is better than them, but this is definitely what I would consider horror. And it's really good at it, what it does, so big props to them. I usually don't get scared by jump scares, so that was well, I mean I do get scared at jump scares, but I usually predict them when they're coming. But that just came out of nowhere, so scaring me 2 reading sessions in a row. Again, just good job. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be back. It should be an episode on Friday, so if you enjoyed, feel free to come back Monday for some more. And thank you for watching. It's been a pleasure. As per always. Goodbye.